Hello and welcome to the Red Alert 3 live cast. I am GVH Michael, and this is going to be the first semi-finals of the Ogre's Ladder Wars between the yellow allies player on the bottom left of Battle Base Beta. It is Vindies versus this red opponent, the red allies player. It is Pika, playing allies at the top right of the map. So allies mirror on Battle Base Beta can only ever mean one thing: double barracks opener into a suicide in the center. That's exactly what we're going to be seeing, so I might as well just keep the camera here. So both players going for the scout, as you can see around the side on the mini-map. I'll show you. There you go. So both players getting the scout off, verifying what they pretty much surely already know. Going to try and take the garrison, so slightly faster in the centre is Vindies over here. But it shouldn't make too much of a difference. So that's a camp the airfield here. Might get the engineer, that's a huge pick-off. But not quite going to make a move that sloppy. Vindies manages to save his engineer at the last second there. That was close for a second. That could have been a huge move. But nevertheless, just continuing the attack in the centre. Vindies taking a little bit more damage on his garrison for the moment. But just focusing down his opponent's peacekeepers, it seems. And both players finishing up the refineries. Vindies going to the water, Pika going to the high ground. So slight variation, but not very much really, to be honest, at this stage. Going for the high ground one means that if you want to go for the center, you can get some. Yeah, it's very easy to get some turrets in the center as well from the position that you're in. But if you go to the water, you have this option to get this refinery, then go up to get this refinery as well afterwards. It's a little bit vulnerable. And we've seen it a couple of times from Vindies before. I think the last time was for the win. Yeah, I think it was. We actually saw Vindies versus Pika on this map with the exact same openers. And I can't remember who. I think it was 1-1 because they played each other twice. Yeah, so Vindies has his third refinery up now. Pika a little bit later as he moved to a more favourable position to try and get a turret in the centre. As he now doesn't get his refinery yet. Gets a power plant so he can get a turret in the centre. Okay, so that will give him control of the centre at least, but it does mean that his economy is that little bit behind. So as soon as the turret's ready, he should be pushing forward, or at least trying to break the centre at least. But he can't reach the garrisons. Oh, that's bad. That's unfortunate. Okay, maybe he can just quite reach that anyway. But tries to move forward. Vindies intercepts his peacekeepers over here. Might just have enough to pick them off, but nevertheless, it's going to dwindle the army size so much so that he's not going to get anything done with these peacekeepers. Finally, they should all go down. So airfield out in the water for Vindies over here, and Pika just that little bit slower on every single regard it seems so far. But it deploys them to be next to the water, so he will be able to get a naval yard and try and deal with everything that Vindies has in the water. But for the moment, he is a little bit behind, and Vindies does seem to be moving over for his fourth refinery, like I was talking about, moving over to the side, over here. And if you have control of the center, then that's great. Because then then your army isn't, then your base being split up over here and over here isn't too much of a disadvantage really, because you have control of the centre. You stop anyone from coming down this route. So PC production just continuing to make sure that that doesn't happen. So a few javelins out, should be trying to focus down these garrisons shortly. But Prospector comes back for the expansion for Pika there. And I'm gonna say I do prefer the expansion to the centre on the high ground first, and then the delayed expansion back with the Prospector, simply because you get your MCV in a better position, which allows for the turrets etc. to be placed, and also allows the tech to be there as well, next to all the production structures right in the centre. But the way that this is going, Pika doing this is a little bit later off the mark, so it might not end up being too favourable for him. So Apollo is out, does scout everything in the water here, does scout exactly what's going on. Probably he knew exactly what was going on before that. as he saw exactly what his opponent was doing. But Dolphin now out. And so picks up the Vindicators, trying to actually move over and get this Dolphin, which he saw moving around the side. But now bringing in the Hydrofall should secure this position. No way for this Dolphin to get any damage done anymore. There it goes. Second one comes in, but I mean there's two more Vindicators over here now. So this is the strength of having the airfield and the water over here. You can defend it with a single Hydrofall. This is what we saw him doing in that previous series as well, in the previous tournament. Which allows him to go for the 4 Vindicators. So Apollo just moving back to heal at the moment. And Vindies still on tier 1. We're going to have to look and see what he's up to next. Pika still on tier 1. And it's focusing down his javelins. Nice micro out of Vindies there. Does lose one of his Vindicators in the process, but picks off quite a few of the infantry. And does potentially allow him to push forward very shortly. So still just seeing tier 1. We'll see what we're going to be seeing out of Vindies very shortly. Pika moving a little bit further in. Maybe trying to get some turrets up, but tries to move forward with some javelins to focus down his turret, but getting huge splash damage on his javelins. Does barely manage to take it out, but I mean that was an expensive trade. Lost the turret. Yeah, but he killed a lot of javelins in the process. So this time not moving in with single Dolphins, a little bit of a heavier force should be able, if he's got enough anti-air that is, to do serious damage against the water base. So moves in with his fire shot, takes out a power plant, takes out a collector as well, but loses 2 Vindicators in the process. So yeah, nice, probably about an even trade to be honest. Peacekeeper production just continuing at both places. Double barracks still continuing. Didn't even ever sell off any of the barracks. On the bottom there did Vindies. While Pika just slowly but surely starting to build up again, having 1 barracks at the front. And where's all those Dolphins gone? Have they been picked off? I think they have. So yeah, nice defense out of Vindies there. This should be held. Yes, there's a couple of Hydrofalls in the water, but it's not going to be dealing too much damage. And yes, there is a Dolphin, but it's going to get picked off. Javelin Riptide comes in though, on the right expansion base, focuses down one of the power plants, should put him into low power. And then is going to go behind us into the refinery, but a huge infantry force out of Vindies in the centre. Likewise a huge infantry force out of Pika as well, but not quite as big. There's going to be a clash here very shortly, I feel. And finally a Dolphin comes in out of Vindies to deal with his opponent's Dolphin. That should finally allow him to get back into the air with these Vindicators. Goes into the garrison, and this will surely mean that this refinery is going to fall. There's no way of this staying alive anymore. He's going to have to sacrifice his position and cut his losses. But I think it was an Apollo that died over there. Sends a lot of his infantry forward, not all of it of course, just enough to hold the position I feel. And yeah, I guess he will be able to keep this refinery alive. There's a position in his control. Of course, the prospect expansion to the northern high ground expansion did come out of Vindies before, and we're going to be seeing the exact same thing out of Pika. So both moving up to 5 refineries, moving in with more Dolphins yet again. And this is the first time this has actually done some damage. Picks off a power plant, picks off a collector. Vindicators come in, pick off 2 of the Dolphins though, so this will get cleaned up. But so far, decent start to the attack out of Pika there. Could try and focus down the refinery, but instead just going for the Hydrofall and Dolphins is Vindies. This is so much infantry. It's continuing the production. While Pika, this has that little bit. This might just be too much to handle. If he decides to attack the north or just the south, I don't think there's going to be enough infantry to hold this. And he might even go for an assault destroyer with this, which he has in the water, but this is probably just going to be used for defense. So now Pika has taken off all the garrisons in the centre, which will mean that, to be honest, it'll mean that there's no more choke points for the turrets, for the infantry to funnel through for the turrets. But a few more infantry, a few more peacekeepers move round the side of the map. Try and find an opening, but he moves forward. The turret got picked off by a couple of Vindicators beforehand, which means that his main base is vulnerable. Huge infantry force moving forward, gets a nice bark off there, and Cryoblast comes out, which is also very nice versus infantry, as it can't move out of the way in time. So it picks off a lot of Vindies infantry there, and the Cryoblast out of Vindies in response. Not as good, but I mean it will force the production to sell off, and it will allow him to continue to push forward, but the straggling units on the right, which Pika had beforehand, might just be enough to save the day. A turret is available should he need to build one, but this should be held. Nice defense out of Pika there. That was a nice defense. That was quite cost effective, to be honest. There was so much more infantry out of Vindies. But Pika now bringing in a turret and bringing in 2 Crycopters, I mean, on the left refinery will be able to freeze it down. And that's going to put him in the economic advantage. Well, if he builds his refinery, that is. Which I feel like he's forgotten about. Just continuing to bomb down some of these peacekeepers here. So there goes the refinery. Starts to freeze down the collector now, realizing his time is limited in his main base as there is javelin troopers focusing it down. But picks up a collector. Might be able to get another one, which would be an excellent position for him to be in. There it goes, another collector goes down, but loses an Apollo. Almost loses a Crycopter, so good on him keeping that alive in the centre. But Peacekeepers and an Assault Destroyer trying to move forward. Trying to break through the centre yet again, but nice shrink on that Assault Destroyer there. Does limit the effectiveness of that Black Hole armour and mean that the turret can't finish off the straggling units there. So nice Apollo usage there, just picking off that Vindicator once again. And Vinny should surely be able to rebuild this refinery. There it goes. Pika finally getting his refinery on top of it as well, so this will be 5 refineries each. And there's more dolphins coming out of Pika, trying to break through the center, through the water yet again. But here come the Crycopter army. Trying to find an opening. Nice turret placement out of Vindies there to just keep him alive for that. We'll keep the collector alive for that little bit longer. But if he takes down the power, that's not going to be too helpful. So Peacekeeper coming on the side. Maybe a scout. Maybe going to be used for like Cryoblast to try and get him to take out the refinery as well. We'll just solidify his standing at the top of there as well. Make sure that he knows exactly what's going on. Freezing down the MCV now with Cryoblast. Plus 2 Crycopters might be enough to freeze it down fully, in fact. There is a hydrofoil to try and stop it in its tracks. But will it be enough? And will it be fast enough? Of course, the Crycopter shrink does make that hydrofoil that little bit less useful. And if the MCV goes down, that is surely going to be it. And there's nothing to stop the freezing. There it goes. The MCV's frozen down. And there it goes. There goes Vindy's hopes in this game. Pika should surely go and take on the win from this. That's going to be... He doesn't even have any way of rebuilding his MCV. He's lost his naval yard. Doesn't have an armor facility. He's stuck now on his single barracks and that airfield in the water, which is surely going to be taken out very shortly. There he goes, Pika. Getting that very nice freeze off there on the MCV. There was no way of Vindy's coming back from that. Pika takes game number 1 and takes the early lead. Hello and welcome to another Red Alert 3 live cast. I am GBH Michael, and this is going to be game number 2 between the yellow allies player at the bottom left of Industrial Strength. It is Vindies versus his opponent, the red allies player at the top right. It is Pika, currently up 1-0 in this series. Now, one thing I've noticed from Vindies is generally his map of choice for his losing map of choice, his first one, is generally, well, maybe it's just in Allies Mirrors, but he tends to like Industrial Strength, so it's not a surprise to see him choose this one for game number 2. But of course, being Industrial Strength and being an Allies Mirror, of course, it can only mean one thing: 2 barrack starts from both sides. I'm going to have to see who gets the first early lead here. Both players going for the refineries slightly later. on Vindies' capture over there now. For Vindies just getting control of the center, getting the vision that he needs to find out where his opponent's going. But walling in his main base is Pika over here. Maybe a little bit scared of something going in and camping its... I'm not really sure what it's for. But it's just stopping him from actually getting inside of his base, maybe picking off that power plant. Let's getting a couple of easy kills. In the center is Pika over there. But picking off... actually sold off both of the barracks there. He's stopped all the infantry production. Which begs the question, what is he going into now? Pika. Well, Pika has a sizable force in his opponent's base over here, while trying to move in. Will be forced back. But the MCV out of Vindies moving forward, which can only mean one thing. It's going to be an MCV push. And having sold off the barracks, it puts... whoa. Okay. Seeing another barracks. But a hidden barracks out of Pika? And I'm not really sure what the aim of this is. Maybe he's trying to counter the turrets with Vindicators? Or something? Or maybe he's going to try and get some Javelin Riptides out? I'm not sure what the plan is there. But or maybe some IFVs. We're going to have to wait and see. But nevertheless, building some Javelins at the back of his base there. And Vindies getting ready for his MCV push. A few Peacekeepers and a turret are in place to push this back for now. Will delay the push for the time being. But he has quite a lot of infantry here, and he's going to force Vindies to the water. So a nice start out of Pika here. Forcing Vindies to the water. It's not a position that you really want to be in. It can be quite hard to defend. But when there's just Peacekeepers on the field, you're in decent shape. So there it goes. There is the facility now. So we might just be seeing that Javelin Riptide like we're talking about before. As he now knows his opponent is in the water, Riptides will be very good indeed. There we go. 4 Javelins inside that. Will be pushing forward. And unless Vindies catches wind of this very quick... Oh, he's moving the water path. That's unusual. I would expect... Maybe he must be trying to hide it. But... yeah, I'm guessing he's trying to hide it. Because if maybe he thinks maybe he thinks if Vindies sees this, he can get a response in time. But if he's not expecting this, there's going to be no way of him dealing with that in his main base. There's going to be no units there in time to deal with the Javelin Riptide. But Doug comes out, perfect scout out of Vindies, sees the Riptide in a very unusual, peculiar position over there, and must think something is in there, something's trying to find their way round the side and into my base. Let's get something to heal. But he's going to move up here, and he's actually going to bombard from the high ground, it looks like. And there isn't currently anything to deal with this. At all. And Pika also in the water with this Riptide, denying the mining over there. And here we are, finally the Javelins come out of the Riptide and start to focus down one of the walls. Has to make sure that these dogs don't come in and spoil their day. There it goes. So finally it does indeed go down. Great start to the game for Pika over there. Now the Collector did fall as well. So 3 refineries now versus 2 out of Vindies. Only 1 mining, in fact. So excellent start out of Pika. And even a couple of IFVs with Peacekeepers in here. Just to make sure that the Peacekeepers cannot break through however much they try. But the Javelin goes... But the Riptide goes down. I mean, so... Picks off the Vindicator in the process. But these Javelins are doomed to die. So 3 refineries mining versus 2 refineries mining out of Vindies again now. More and more IFVs are coming out. He must be trying to break through the centre. But selling off the armour facility now means that he's going to try and change his tech path. Could mean he's going into a naval yard. Might be going into Dolphins. Dolphin hydrofoil. Which would be quite powerful. We've seen Pika like that composition quite a bit in Allies Mirrors before. There we go, see the naval yard out now. Cryoblast, Cryo Shot even comes out. in conjunction with that Vindicator to get that nice collector kill. But being behind... Oh, he even has the garage. This will make this even more of an insurmountable challenge for Vindies to actually pick off. But moves in with four Peacekeeper IFVs. And there's no way for infantry to stop this. With the garage on top of that as well, this is doomed to die. There he goes, breaks through the walls. The infantry comes in as well, but there's no... Oh, nice use of the Vindicators there, I didn't see those. But nevertheless, IFVs come in yet again with the Peacekeepers and focus down the Collector. As soon as that goes down, there's no real reason to hold this position anymore. Whoa, okay, so it actually did deploy that Collector, so it does have a build radius. Nice defense. But I don't think it's enough. Just have the wall on this side, but he could break through the wall, slowly but surely, and take down the refinery. Nevertheless, 3 Dolphins out now, as I was saying before. Wouldn't be surprised to see some hydrofoils there as well. But Pika trying to break through and take out the garage. Of course, Pika having none of it, taking that out before it gets too big of an issue. One of the Vindicators goes down in the process, taking it out an IFV, but definitely a worthwhile trade for the red player over there. 3 Dolphins come out now, trying to find a way to get some damage done on the right. Currently nothing to defend it. Only a single Vindicator and no turret in production. And Vindies has rebuilt both of his collectors in his main base, has rebuilt his refinery. 4 refineries versus 3. So Vindies actually has the better economy for the first time in this game now. Nice bombs out of Vindies there. Of course, if you don't have to move too far away from your airfield, you just Vindicate the bomb right away. Don't have to risk taking too much damage from the Vindicators, from the Apollos even. But these Dolphins are wreaking havoc. Picks off a Collector. Will be picking off a power plant. Maybe even getting another Collector as well on the back of this. As we see Pika take his refinery in the water at the same time. So breaks through the wall on the left over here with, I think it was a Vindicator. Yeah, there it was. So we'll be able to now pick off this Collector and the power plant. Pika trying to rebuild in the water over on the left. And will the Collector go down? Yes, it does. So nice play out of Pika there. Just making use of these IFVs as much as possible. And now with 3 Apollos on the field, there shouldn't be too much more of a threat from the allies, from Vindies aircraft for now anyway. And Vindicator coming in, just bombing a wall to allow these... oh! Loses a Vindicator. That was a sloppy move. But nevertheless will allow these Peacekeeper IFVs to go in and pick up another Collector. Maybe even get the refinery. So 5 refineries now out of Pika. Just continuing to build up this Dolphin army, trying to break through the water. Currently there doesn't seem to really be a response out of Vindies. He seems to be spending a lot of time and effort on keeping his main base alive, but not that much in the water. Finally there comes the naval yard. So we will be able to get some Riptides out and some units to deal with these Dolphins. And the Collector has fallen yet again. So 2 Collectors have fallen over here on the right, on the left in his main base. And finally the IFVs have fallen. There shouldn't be any more in the game for the time being, as the armor facility did indeed die as well. Was sold off in fact. The Cryocopter now out on the field, and with this, with the air superiority with all of these Apollos, he should be able to come in yet again and just harass this main base non-stop, and there shouldn't really be anything to stop him. Even with some turrets, there will be a sweet spot, there will be a way to get some harassment done here, and the first Collector does get frozen down and should get killed off very shortly. There it goes. Vindies coming in yet again, trying to pick up this garage. The repairs are coming down, but that's not going to help. The garage will indeed be taken out of the picture very shortly. But picks... oh! Nice move out of Vindies there. Just delaying the attack that little bit longer. Just keep his collector alive. I mean, all this means is he's going to lose a refinery instead, so maybe not the best in the end. But moves in with all the dolphins, moves in with a few of the hydrofoils as well, gets with the cryoblast as well, freezes down 2 power plants, and picks up another one as well. Excellent play out of Pika there, and I feel like that just might be enough to take the game. With this refinery frozen down, and there it goes. Vindies just didn't have enough, and Pika takes the 2-0 lead in this best of 5. Hello and welcome to another Red Alert 3 livecast. I am GBH Michael, and this is going to be game number 3 between the yellow Allies player on the left of Cabana Republic. It is Vindies versus his opponent, the red Allies player on the right. It is Pika. So Pika winning 2 games in a row, 2-0 up in the series. Vindies has to find a way to claw back in. Starts off with 2 barracks. Likewise, Pika does the exact same thing. But this being Pika being Vindies' map of choice, often seems to favour this map. Brings it up quite a bit. So we're going to have to find out if he manages to make a way into this, to winning this. So gets an early roar off there. Slight advantage, might be able to get forward and pick up the engineer if he's lucky, but I really don't think this dog is going to allow him to get in to do that. But Vindies moving in for his dog scouting the water. Will just verify what he probably already knows. It's a 2 barracks, and that he will know where his opponent is expanding after that. So it's continuing with the double barracks production. Pika actually selling one off, so he's going to look into to transition into something very shortly. And Vindies, okay, there is the engineer, so he will be going for his engineer, just keeping it with his peacekeepers for now, and Pika will be slightly faster off the mark to get that. And a javelin troop are actually coming out of Pika here, trying to win the garrison war, destroy the garrisons before his opponent destroys his. But Pika moving in does see the expansion out of Vindies, moves to the water, and Pika responds with an airfield before expanding. Decides to pack up his MCV and redeploy it. Maybe thinking that he wants to get rid of the scout in his main base first. Maybe thinking he's going to go for cryocopters. But instead not actually building any tier 2 at the moment, building anything in fact. So Vindies looking to try and get his 3rd refinery for the moment. And slowly but surely will be breaking through the centre as his peacekeeper count is getting insurmountable at this stage. And so yeah, very, very slow decision making out of Pika here. In his main base, still hasn't expanded yet. Vindies has his 3rd refinery up, but does have the aircraft, does have the couple of indicators out, and is starting to break through. And if he can get control of this garrison, he can bombard down this refinery, which will be an excellent position for him to be in. Without a turret on Vindies' production line, or anything to deal with them, it's looking dire for this refinery at this stage. A nice bomb split out of Pika, of course, bombing down the peacekeepers as they're on the shield mode. Does take them down in 1 bomb instead of the usual 2. Very good. It's very, very good using it in conjunction with garrisons and peacekeepers like this. Peacekeepers of Vindies trying to move in, trying to get some damage up from the airfield, trying to get a scout off. Will not be able to get anything real done. But Pika actually moving in a little bit far. We're going to see an MCV push. And currently no response out of Vindies. He's not aware of this yet. Deploying out of range. I think this is going to be out of range of his opponent's vision. Yes, it's just out of range there. But he will be able to build turrets next to his opponent's refinery and get some sort of foothold in the water. But continuing to bombard down this refinery, he has a javelin in position now as well. It will surely fall down. This will even up the economic standings. Finally, the hydrofoils come into play, and they will see this MCV. They'll know the MCV is coming in for a push. There comes a turret. There comes the naval yard. The refinery of the naval yard of his opponent does fall down indeed as well. And now with no production in the water, this is going to be a very tough position for Vindies to hold. The Dolphins are surely going to be coming out now. And there we go. Dolphin 1 is now out and will be trying to focus down this MCV. So more peacekeepers coming in, trying to take out this garrison for now. But this just looks like a commanding lead for Pika. Vindies just doesn't seem to have anything going his way at this stage. Yes, he was faster off the mark with his expansion, but it's been taken out now. So turret is now out in play and should be able to possibly just focus down anything that comes out of this naval yard or just destroy the naval yard. Two options there. But now the naval yard of Vindies is now out again. But the Vindicators are just being so pesky, picking off units and built more on the front line this time. Even on land as well, which means that there won't be any threat from the water. So, small thing, but nice move out of Pika. I like that. Still has the 3 Vindicators as well, which means you can move in and bomb a power plant down, bomb one of these hydrofoils down. He has a few options, but maybe going for the units would be a better thing at this stage. Vindy's moving a little bit further forward as well. As he saw this, he realised he's probably going to go for turrets, and he can't do that without power, so power plant goes down, and it's going to be a dolphin war for the time being. With Pika's MCV packed up, can go for the turrets, as we are seeing right here. Of course, will be negated by this hydrofoil, but nevertheless will be helpful. MCV of Vindies moving right next to the MCVs of the airfield of his opponent, trying to move possibly into his opponent's main base to go for a push. But he's losing all of his power, and he can't do that with his power, like I was saying before. Without any power, your push is going to be terrible, and if the Vindicators are just constantly bombing down your power plants, and you can never get any turrets up. Here he goes, potentially trying to move in for the push. But it's going to be difficult for him to really achieve anything with this. Pika in a commanding position, a commanding lead, and is possibly looking to take the win of this series. 3-0. So Dolphin War starts again, and what? I didn't think that hospitals heal dolphins. But apparently they do. The class is infantry. So yeah, there you go. The hospitals heal dolphins. Now I know. That's helpful to know. I guess it'll help you in no situations ever. But it's good to. Yeah. Okay. There you have it. So if another power plant goes down, and this will mean that the turret is just safe, but is just guaranteed to be in low power. As I was saying before, there's no way of that turret push to even get any damage done. And Vindies is just slowly but surely being picked apart by Pika. So Pika's still only on 2 refineries, not trying to build any more refineries up yet. And has his javelin in chase to force his MCV of Vindies just not to unpack. And now the nail yard has been sold off out of Vindies. He just doesn't have enough money, he doesn't have enough anything at this stage, it seems. And there's a javelin riptide in his old main base. MCV sold off, refineries will indeed get sold off as well, and there you go, Pika takes a series 3-0 and will make his way into the final, so congratulations to him there. Vindies, unfortunately not his day. Congratulations to Pika taking the 3-0 lead and taking the series.